Okay, so fair warning, I am not a public speaker. I don't take many videos, so I apologize if this isn't completely a perfect YouTube video. But I would like to say that this is a book report on one of my new favorites called You're Wearing That, Understanding Mothers and Daughters in Conversation by Deborah Tannen. Now, the book covers the difficulties of communication between mothers and daughters in a humorous and sometimes emotionally heartfelt way. With her intellectual insights, personal experiences, oftentimes hilarious dialogue that perfectly capture how most conversations go between old-fashioned parents and their headstrong offspring. I'm sure I know all those people. Deborah Tannen absolutely delights readers and teaches them a thing or two about accepting changes as they come and opening yourself up to the multiple perspectives of the times. Excuse me. Now, when I first read this book, I was a little bit biased because I already have a book similar. Basically, it's about how teenagers can alter their how they react and how they act to things to better themselves and to slow down and adhere to their parents' words, and they know better than you, so on and so forth. It's not as plain as that, but for a quick summary, that's what it was about. And I felt a little bit upset because I felt like the book was telling me what to do instead of, suggesting. And after that bad experience, I kind of viewed every book like that when it came to informative communication tactics. But this book is absolutely different than any book you might have ever read before prior to this. And one thing I want to note is that this book was originally published in 2006, but I feel like the material in the book is extremely valid and extremely relevant to the times now, especially when you factor in social media, the influencers, TikTok, and peer pressure. This book will help you for sure. Now, I want to bring up a quick little example that really corresponds with the book, and it's literally incorporates the title of You're Wearing That. So, as we know, the fashion of this century or of this decade is kind of, definitely different than what your parents might have worn in their time. And I saw this really cute skirt in the store, and I absolutely wanted it. I said, "Mom, can I get it?" And then, she looking at it, she was going to get it, and she said, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" And at first, I didn't really understand what she meant. I just thought that she didn't like the shirt or like the skirt. I thought it was just not her taste, and I was a little bit hurt by that. But then the more I looked at it, the more I realized the biggest problem, and it was ridiculously short. Now, if you factor in any other person, and for this one, I'm going to call on one of my friends, they wear very, very short clothes. So I would have known that that would have been an enormous fight between her and her parent over what to wear, because so on and so forth. I'm in charge. I wear what I want. No. Absolutely no. So when I had discussion with my mom, I told her, I appreciate you telling me not to wear something so short because it delivers the wrong impression to other people about who I am, even though I know I'm not like that. Excuse me. And this book kind of incorporates that same kind of understanding of your parent like telling you something and you can take it one way or the other, and depending on how you react, your parent will also react to that, and it'll just be a big huge issue over something as minor as a skirt. And one thing I really, really, really loved about this book was the amount of humor in it. It wasn't like ridiculously, like, it wasn't an overload of humor. It was a perfect amount of humor that made you feel like you could relate to the person they're talking about, to her experiences. You felt like you were on that paper. You felt like you could remember a situation in which that very dialogue was present in your experience. That's how that's how pitch perfect she wrote this book. I mean, I like to laugh, so it was extremely amusing to me, and I feel like I learned a lot about how to deal with my situations with my mom. And also, from an emotional standpoint, she also reflects on memories with her mom, too, and I found out that her mom passed away during the making of this book, so it makes you feel even more, like she's like a real person. Like, you feel, of course she's a real person, but you feel more attached and more sympathetic to the book and her covering it, and it makes it feel so that much more real, so much more, like, for lack of a better word, it's just a perfect book that you really feel emotionally attached to, at least for me at least. And because of all the emotions, from the humor to the sad parts to the serious parts, you just feel like this book is really tailored to you. And I feel like anybody who picks up that book could tailor this book to them and find themselves in this book and correspond everything this book covered into their own lives to better their shit with their parents. And don't think that this book is only for mothers and daughters. I feel like this book could be for sons and fathers, daughters and fathers, sons and, well, maybe not sons and mothers, but I feel like this book has a lot of good information and tactics to use when it comes to your life and when it comes to dealing with your parent or dealing with your kid. It's just a very informative book that I would recommend to absolutely anyone. No matter what age you are, you should read this book if you're having any difficulties. Even if you're not having any difficulties, I would just read this book to, be humored, to laugh, to understand, to get an overview and to change how you may act and how you may not notice how you act, but how you actually act, and kind of change that and better yourself by looking at all directions and perspectives. And I just think it's a really good book. Five stars easily. And I'm not even a reader, so absolutely good book.